Hey guys, Ponce here, and today I just thought I'd share my thoughts and ideas on Gnar's balance and kind of where he sits in the game at the moment, all that kind of stuff. Now that he's been on live server and released for a little while now. What is it, like probably almost 2 weeks now at this point? But in any case, um, I'm coming at this from the context that it seems like most people, at least what I've been reading and hearing, people don't think Gnar is that good or he's a bit weak or way too weak or something along those lines. So I should probably start off by saying that I don't actually think Gnar is that bad. I don't think he's really weak. I think he's weird and inconsistent. So, which is kind of a weird thing to say. Like, here's what I mean by inconsistent. If you play Gnar flawlessly and don't screw up, Gnar is really good. And so he's got a very high potential to be good. And then sort of the numbers all and his kit kind of comes together and it seems to work out. But what I mean by inconsistent is sort of that it doesn't matter how ahead Gnar can get. Well, it depends how you build, but typically you get really ahead on Gnar, you can always just suddenly lose and die out of nowhere, out of just from one mistake. You need to be consistently good with Gnar, always be in the right position, harass properly, get your damage in the right spots. But if you accidentally, jump the wrong way once, or move out of position awkwardly, you are so squishy in the mini Gnar form. I'm talking about mainly laning phase right now, but it applies to any part of the game. You will basically get taken out like that, and the lead you had will just kind of disappear, and this guy who this Jax or whatever you've beaten the crap out of for the past 10 minutes suddenly has a kill, and he's going to take your tower, and he's going to start getting snowballing off like that. Whereas if the inverse position were true, the typical bruiser top lane, he is ahead. He's going to sit there and he's going to abuse and just kind of push other people out of the lane. And when your standard top laner gets ahead, he usually stays ahead, and his impact is consistent. Gnar is very inconsistent in how much impact he can have on the game, and that part of that is also his kit as well. It's not just the fact that he's squishy and can just be taken out like that. That's very similar to putting like an AD carry top lane. Um, but the other part is, of course, I'm sure everyone has complained and mentioned about this, is his whole transformation mechanic, which makes Gnar very, very unique. So it's props to Riot for trying something new finally, and people have been complaining for the longest time. All the champions are saying we need a new kit, and then so Riot tries something like really new and weird, and it's not very good. And then everyone's yelling at them for why this thing sucks. Why'd you do that? So hopefully, like Riot doesn't take that the wrong way and sort of shy away from weird new mechanics. The unfortunate thing about this mechanic, while interesting and has good potential, is that again it's inconsistent, and pretty much consistency, especially sort of in a solo queue context, is the pretty much the most important thing in the game. You want to be consistently good, not like really, really good some of the time, and then like pretty crap the rest of the time. So again, that comes in with the transformation mechanic, where it's like you can sort of control and manage your rage thing and transform kind of the right-ish times, but it's not like 100% under your control. And the thing about that is not only can like you kind of see when it's coming, but the enemy also sees when it's coming. And Mega Gnar is, of course, everyone I'm sure has run into like a Mega Gnar out of nowhere and accidentally walked into him or something. Mega Gnar is ridiculously powerful. But Mega Gnar is also extremely, extremely easy to avoid. So you just kind of, dance around with the mini Gnar form in lane if you're fighting against him. You deal with it, and then you see his bar filling up. It's like, okay, I'm just going to back off while he turns into Mega Gnar, and he's going to waste his transformation, not be able to do anything with it. Pretty much the only times I ever see um, Mega Gnar be like really effective and like destroy someone is when the other guy screws up. And when you basically put the ball in another person's court like that, that's again the inconsistency thing. It's like it's dependent on the other guy to screw up and get close to you when you're about to transform. Like especially as people learn Gnar's range or threat range more and just kind of memorize it. It's just like why walk anywhere near him when he's going to do it? Just wait it out, then go back and you can do your thing. And it's not like Gnar can force the issue either, because you try and leap in on someone, you're just going to be just short. He kind of walks out of the stun range because the stun is like really slow and like the easiest thing to dodge in the game. Instantly, it's another thing. His stun is so slow. It's terrible if you try and use it off the bat. Basically, you have to stun someone with the ult if you want to reliably stun someone with the follow-up stun. But anyway, getting back to my point, you jump in with Gnar, then you're just stuck. If anyone has any kind of range attacks or anything, or waits for your cooldowns to go down, he just starts poking you and poking you, and your Mega Gnar is wasted. So it's a really unfortunate thing, and that bleeds into the whole kind of team fight phase thing. So again, let's say you go, I don't know, 7-2 in lane and have lots of CS. It is still very, very difficult to go into those major, the most League of Legends, when you boil it down to its sort of most basic kind of team fighting game, which you're going to see most of the time, is just kind of 5 people mashing their faces into each other and spamming their abilities, and then hopefully one side wins. Unfortunately, that's just what happens most of the time. Gnar is not really good at that. He's good at it when he has his Mega Gnar form up, but typically, especially team fights, come together because someone gets caught out, or a team decides now is a good time and pushes in, or your team decides, okay, we got to go now, all my cooldowns are back and I think this is a good fight for us. It's typically not Gnar deciding that the fight's going to start. I mean, ideally he jumps in exactly when he has his Mega Gnar form, but much like the laning phase, if people see you're about to get Mega Gnar, they're just going to kind of stand back and wait for it to go off, or your rage bar disappears. Now, typically what's going to happen is someone is going to start a fight, and you are either going to have just wasted your Rage or Mega Gnar form on something, or it's like less than half, and you're not going to get the Mega Gnar form until like the very ass end of the fight. And until that point, you're this short range, like pokey thing that's kind of like Teemo. It's really difficult because you just get blown up. He does have very high damage potential in mini Gnar form, especially if you get like some kind of attack speed, and just getting your auto attacks off and blowing up the W stacks. But again, it's very Teemo like, and you don't see Teemo very often. You know why? Because, well, yeah, you go into these team fights and he's got the short range and he just gets blown up, and he doesn't have Teemo mushrooms, so he's like a Teemo with Teemo mushrooms and blind, but better kiting. So again, yeah, it's the team fight problem. Gnar really, really excels at these kind of small skirmish fights and, picking one person off at a time and kiting them around forever and stuff like that. But unfortunately, your typical game isn't won that way. It's about sort of this consistent, reliable, I'm going to get fed, and I'm going to mash into the enemy team, and I'm going to be able to kill all of them. Gnar gets fed, but, unless he has Mega Gnar at the exact right timing and manages to leap on the entire team as, tanking things up and using his ult effectively, you're the mini Gnar going, huh, 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 and you're basically a crappy AD carry with really short range. So, I don't know. Now that raises the question, how do you balance this? How do you make Gnar more consistent? That's difficult because, again, he's not a weak champion. When the ideal scenario presents itself, Gnar is actually quite good. But if you make the quite good consistent, as he is right now, he'd probably be way too strong. So is it a case of, do you tone back his skills, but then make him more consistent by, buffing, I don't know, base stats, or making Mega Gnar more reliable? I don't know, maybe have Mega Gnar only go off when you use your next ability, or, if you get hit when your bar is full or something. That seems like that would be overpowered, so you'd probably have to scale back Mega Gnar for him, or. It's a very delicate balancing act, and it's unfortunate that so much of his kit revolves around instability and inconsistency, which are just so important in League of Legends. So, like I said, I'm not a game developer. I don't have the answers here for you. I'm just kind of telling you my thoughts on sort of what the problem is here. Just Gnar is in this, again, a very weird position where it's like, I think he's actually not bad. He's pretty good, and if someone gets really, really good with him, he's got pretty good potential. But just for us mere mortals who are going to screw up every once in a while, and every once in a while be in the wrong position, you're just going to get blown up, and yeah, he's a good champion that I can't recommend you play, as I suppose is how I'm going to put it. All right, well, those are my thoughts. Hopefully it wasn't too rambling and incoherent, but it made sense to me. So anyway, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.